A growing number of people want to take more flights, and some accuse the government of dragging their feet over allowing that to happen. All the while, our airports are operating flat out. All right, after you. So this is fully autonomous. You just have to press the start button there and we're off.
Matthew Hill is from a business-backed group campaigning for more airport capacity.
We haven't had a full-length runway in London South East since the Second World War. Gatwick was built in the 1930s, Heathrow in the 1940s, and we need one. Heathrow is full. Gatwick will be full in the next few years.
Matthew's group claims the lack of a new runway is costing us a potential £1 million an hour.
I think there are huge economic benefits from the construction of a new runway. At the moment, because we don't have that new runway, we don't have that new capacity for new flights to new markets, we're missing out on £9.5 billion a year in lost trade. And until we get that decision and we get that runway built, we'll continue to lose out on that trade.
One airport that's eager to expand is Heathrow, either by extending this northern runway, the one closest to us here, or the Airport Commission's favoured proposal, building a new runway parallel to these, about 1 kilometre that way, in place of a field and some villages. It's said that would offer 40 new destinations from the airport, carry lots more air freight, provide 70,000 new jobs and an overall boost to economic activity in the country, with a promise of no night flights, new environmental and community controls, and no fourth runway.
Heathrow's hub status also services many of the UK's other airports, including this one in Newcastle. On average, every year, 250,000 passengers travel to and from this key exporting region via Heathrow, often on sales trips.
Well, we've been very strong supporters of a third runway at Heathrow. We think it's in the best interests of the North East. We also think it's in the best interest of UK PLC. It is the UK's only hub. Our services connect to many destinations across the world and allow businesses to trade right the way across the globe.
Gatwick Airport also wants to expand with another runway here.
By doubling Gatwick's capacity, the plan would create 22,000 new jobs, a vastly expanded short-haul network and more long-haul destinations.
I think the expansion of Gatwick will bring, firstly, the certainty of delivery. We can have spades in the ground in this Parliament and we can be operational the next. So that's within 10 years we can have a new runway, and Gatwick can provide the increasing capacity at a price which is actually half the cost of Heathrow.
Now, before anyone gets carried away, there are of course some people who would far prefer no extra planes in the sky.
We already fly more than everybody else. Most of these are leisure flights. Well, who is taking these leisure flights? Actually, 70% of all of our flights are taken by 15% of the population. Now, it's a wealthy, frequent flying elite.
No buts, no third runway.
But with approval of a third runway looking likely, could more protests be on the horizon?
You know, I can tell you now they're dusting off the handcuffs, they're dusting off the banners. And, you have to remember Heathrow, if they choose to expand Heathrow, you're talking about hundreds of homes being bulldozed, whole communities being eradicated, wiped off the map. Now, over the last few years, since the last big protest around Heathrow, the relationship between local people around the airport and grassroots climate change activists has only got closer, and those guys are going to get together and just cause merry hell for the people trying to expand the airport.
So what happens next? The Prime Minister, Theresa May, who once called for a better, not bigger Heathrow whilst in opposition, will chair a select group of cabinet colleagues expected to decide imminently on whether to build a new runway and where. It will then take months for a national policy statement outlining the new works to get drawn up before MPs get to vote on it, leaving plenty of time for any further opposition to airport expansion to get off the ground.